Hello, everyone. I know that you guys are loving doing equations. Equations are one of my favorite things.
Without me?
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry I started without Miss Green.
I cannot believe you started without me.
I wanted to do the whole video myself. What can I say?
Shame
we
on you.
all know I'm the favorite teacher.
You are. Your babies love you.
So, and your babies love you.
Thank you. Okay, here we go.
So we're doing solving multi-step equations today. So that means we're adding in an extra step. We've been doing two-step. This is multi-step. That means more than two. More? Multi? More?
Is that what multi means? Oh yeah, like multicolored. I get it.
It's more than one at least. So our learning target today, we will be able to solve multi-step equations by using inverse operations.
Do you have your journal?
Oh.
Go get your journal.
You better have your journal. You know who I'm talking to right now.
Yeah, go get your journal.
No, get it out. Don't argue with me. Get it out. Now.
Yep.
Now.
If you don't have a journal, go get a napkin or something.
Something. Write it on it. Put it in your journal later.
Toilet paper.
Toilet paper. Ooh, ew. Make sure it's not used.
As long as it's not used, you're fine.
Okay. We'll be able to solve multi-step equations by using inverse operations. Inverse. Again, operations. Yay!
Pause it if you need to. Here we go.
Okay. I like using steps because I like steps in my mind. I can't just stare at it.
I like to wing it.
She likes to wing it. I like steps. So I'm going to give you steps, and Miss Green's probably going to tell her class, let's wing it. So if you want to use steps, you can. If you want to go into it and be like, I've got this, as long as you're showing me what you're doing, great. The steps I used. Number 1, eliminate the variable on one side of the equation. Step 2, eliminate the constant by adding or subtracting. Step 3, make the variable single by multiplying or dividing. Make sure you write those down, at least have them, so that if I ask you...
Yeah, and that's for my class too. Don't not write them down. We'll talk about winging it later, but right now you need to write these down. So take a few minutes to write that down.
Pause it, love it, know it, deal with it.
Celebrate it.
Yeah. So let's talk about what these steps mean. I have 3m minus 13 equals 3 minus m. Oh my goodness, Miss Green, there's a variable on both sides.
Yeah, that's too much for me.
So what the first step said to do was eliminate the variable on one side.
Okay, so I can you're telling me I can either get rid of this one over here, or I can get rid of this one over here.
Yes.
I think I'm going to get rid of this one over here.
I do too. You want to know why I want to get rid of that one?
I do.
Because it's a subtraction, and subtraction I can add to get rid of it, and then I don't end up with a negative variable.
Right, because if we subtract it over here, then I would have to come over here and do negative.
I like
And that would be
positive.
a negative 4m. So I would rather do, and there's nothing wrong with negatives. Poor negatives, they don't get any attention. One day you're going to get to a problem, and you're gonna have no choice but to subtract, and you're going to have negatives. But I'm going to go ahead and do this first.
So we've got m plus m. If I'm subtracting, this would cancel each other out. That'd be saying like -1 plus 1.
But
it's going to cancel each other out.
Whatever you do to one side,
you have to do to the other, so I have to add an m here. If I have 3m and m, how many m's am I going to have total?
Well, if you've got 3 m's, 1, 2, 3, and you add one more, how many m's do we have?
4 m's. I've seen a lot of mistakes on things like that where everyone's like, but I only have 1. You have 1 times 3. That is a total of 3.
Here's 1, 2, 3, and you
now I'm going to add another.
And you add another.
So I've got 4.
So if you think of your variable as an actual object, it'll make so much more sense. It's not a 3 by itself and then an m. It's literally meaning 3 m's.
Yes. So I'm now going to bring down what's left. So minus 13 equals 3. Now we're on to, that's so much better.
I know, that looks
so
just
pretty.
like what we've been doing. So you should have no problem with this. Now we can pretty much follow our other steps,
Yeah, we can follow our other steps, or we can stick with the other ones. I know some people got confused by the other ones. I know we got confused by it too at some points. So let's look at it and we have to eliminate the constant by adding or subtracting. So my constant's the one all by itself, not attached to my m. It's not on this side of the equation.
And I said that to my students earlier. Basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to eliminate the variable. You want the variable, you want to isolate the variable. You want the m to be all by itself. So why have to get rid of this 13?
He needs to be lonely.
We need to get rid of this 13 here, and we need to get rid of this 4 here. But before we do anything, we do our reverse order of operations. Therefore, I'm going to add 13 on one side and then add 13 on the other, because whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other.
Equals 16.
This is easy,
That's super easy. Now I have to
do the opposite, the inverse
make
operation.
my variable single by doing multiplying or dividing. I'm going to have to divide because this is the inverse of multiply. So 4 divided by 4 is 1m. Divide by 4 is 4. So m equals 4.
Plug it into your calculator, check, make sure it works, and it should.
It should. So then you'd have 3 times 4 was 12. So if we plug this in, 3 times 4 minus 13 equals 3 minus 12. Is that what we're doing?
No,
4.
It's 4.
4. My mistake. So 3 times 4 was 12 minus 13 equals, this was a 4. 3 minus 4, which was -1. -1 equals -1.
There you go.
Boom. Done.
We're done.
Cool.
It worked.
Let's do another couple problems. So we have 4s plus 10 equals 2s plus -2.
Guys, these are S's. I thought there were 5s also. I know, she's got terrible handwriting. But this is an S.
It's only because my 5s normally look goofy.
I was
That
just gonna
actually
say,
does look like an
that
S.
is an S, but it looks
But normally
like
my 5s are goofy.
So that's an S and that's
S.
an S. So it's 4S plus 10 equals to 2S plus -2.
The reason I put in S's and M's is to know that it's not always X.
Right.
Okay, so we're going to eliminate the variable on one side. I vote we take the smaller variable because, again, we end up with a negative. So the smaller variable would be the 2s. So I'm going to subtract 2s from this side. That leaves nothing here. Then I'm going to subtract 2s on this side because whatever I did over here, I have to do over here. And I'm left with 2s, bring everything else down, plus 10 equals -2. I don't have to put that plus sign because I know it's just a -2.
Right.
So now I'm left with my two-step equation. I have to eliminate the constant by adding or subtracting. So -10, -10, -2, -10. That's going to be an even bigger negative.
That's
so
right.
it'll be -12. That canceled out. 2s. My s's need to become something that don't look like a 5 anymore. And then I'm going to multiply or divide to get the variable single. S, we're going to make it look like an S, equals -6.
Now remember, if you get confused and you don't know what operation to do here, whether you're supposed to multiply or divide, just remember that if you had multiplied, that would have turned it into 4 S's.
Yes.
And that's not isolating the variable. So in order to do that, you want to divide by it because that'll turn it into just 1 S.
The best thing about math, it kind of checks itself.
Yep.
Because you had to make that 1 instead of 4. I believe we have one more problem for today. Oh, yay. So, we've got -3 plus 3y equals 2y plus 5. Which one do you want to do? Should we try a negative?
I do. I want to get rid of this just so I
Okay.
can see what it looks like.
So, see what it looks like.
And before we go on, just so you know, we can actually do any one of these. We can subtract 5, but whatever we do to one side, you gotta do to the other. You can also take away the 2y, but whatever. So you can actually start anywhere you want, but we like to start with the variables just to get the variable all on one side.
Yes. So 2y minus 3y equals
negative
y. Oh, I like that we did that because I saw this a lot today where people got confused by -x.
Right.
So we're going to leave it there. Now I need to eliminate the constant by adding or subtracting. So I've got -5, cancels out, -5. Again, -3 minus 5, keep, change. We end up with -8 equals -y. Oh, I'm done, right?
No, I still have it. Remember, there's always a 1 right in front of your variable. So this is technically -1y. So we need to get rid of that -1. So divide by it and...
So -8 divided by -1 is +8. So y equals 8.
All right.
This is super simple, guys. It's gonna check itself. I know you guys have been doing great on two-step equations. Now we're just gonna add in that extra step.
Okay, enjoy it. We'll talk to you guys later.
If you have questions, Google it, ask us, tutorials, anything. You are done for today.
Peace out, yo.
Bye.